History is littered with chilling tales of torture, cruel and unusual punishments designed not just to kill but to break the human spirit. Among these horrors, few can rival the sheer brutality of Scaphism. This ancient Persian execution method, also known as the boats, stands as a testament to the depths of human cruelty. Imagine a death so agonizing, so drawn out, that it chills the soul to its core. This is Scaphism. This essay delves into the horrifying reality of Scaphism, exploring the step-by-step process of this gruesome execution method. We will journey into the darkest corners of human cruelty, confronting the physical and psychological torment inflicted upon its victims. Prepare yourself, for what you are about to read is not for the faint of heart. It is a stark reminder of the inhumanity humans are capable of inflicting upon one another. In ancient Persia, the sentence of Scaphism was reserved for the most heinous crimes. Treason, blasphemy, murder transgressions deemed so severe that they warranted a punishment far beyond a swift death. When the dread sentence was passed, it came with a chilling finality. The condemned knew that their fate was not just death, but an excruciating and prolonged ordeal. Whispers of this gruesome punishment spread fear throughout the land. Stories circulated of the boats, crude vessels used to imprison the condemned. These tales spoke of unspeakable suffering, of victims slowly consumed by insects under the relentless desert sun. The mere mention of Scaphism was enough to send shivers down the spines of even the most hardened criminals. It served not only as punishment, but as a chilling deterrent, a warning to all who dared to defy the laws of the land. The boats used in Scaphism were not vessels of exploration or escape, but instruments of unimaginable suffering. 2 hollowed-out logs or boats were carefully chosen, just large enough to contain the victim's body. These crude vessels were more akin to coffins, designed to entomb the living rather than the dead. The condemned was stripped naked and tightly bound, their limbs splayed and secured within the confines of the 2 boats. One boat served as the base, the other as a lid, sandwiching the victim between. Their head, hands, and feet protruded from the openings, exposed to the elements and the horrors that awaited. Every detail was meticulously considered, ensuring maximum exposure and vulnerability. There was no escape from the torment to come. The true cruelty of Scaphism lay not only in its physical torment, but also in its psychological manipulation. The condemned, securely bound within their wooden prison, was initially treated with a perverse kindness. They were force-fed a mixture of milk and honey. This sickeningly sweet concoction served a dual purpose. It coated the victim's mouth in exposed flesh, attracting insects, flies, ants, wasps, drawn to the sickly sweet aroma. This was just the beginning of their torment. The milk and honey also served a more insidious purpose. They induced severe diarrhea, ensuring that the victim's own bodily waste would contribute to the agonizing ordeal that awaited them. The sun's glare. Unrelenting heat intensifies the torment. The boats, with their helpless prisoner, were then taken to a place of particular cruelty, a stagnant pond or marsh, fully exposed to the relentless desert sun. The victim, lying helpless and exposed, would begin to bake under the scorching heat. The sun, usually a source of life, became an instrument of torture. Hours would turn into days as the sun beat down mercilessly. The victim's skin would redden, blister, and eventually peel away. Their lips would crack and bleed, their throat parched with an unquenchable thirst. The air, thick with the buzz of insects and the stench of their own waste, offered no respite. It only intensified the agony. The once gentle breeze now felt like a hot, searing breath across their raw and exposed flesh. The insects arrive. A living nightmare begins. As the sun began to set, offering a brief respite from its scorching heat, a new horror emerged. Drawn by the sweet, nauseating scent of honey, milk, and human waste, insects descended upon the victim. Flies, drawn to the open wounds and bodily fluids, would lay their eggs in every crevice of exposed flesh. Ants, relentless and ever hungry, would swarm over their body, biting, stinging, and carrying away tiny pieces of flesh. Wasps, attracted by the commotion and the easy prey, would join the gruesome feast. The victim, trapped and helpless, could only writhe in agony as their body became a living buffet for these creatures. The buzzing and stinging became a constant torment, a symphony of pain echoing in their ears. Days turn into nights. The cycle of agony continues. As darkness fell, the victim might have hoped for a reprieve from the torment, but the cycle of horror was far from over. The coolness of the night brought little relief from the burning itches and stings. The insects, their appetites insatiable, continued their relentless assault, their tiny teeth tearing at the victim's flesh. Each day the sun rose, bringing with it a fresh wave of scorching heat and renewed insect activity. Each night provided only a brief respite from the searing pain, replaced by the relentless biting and stinging of insects. This cycle of agony continued for days, sometimes even weeks. The victim, their body a mass of pain and putrefaction, clung to life with a desperate tenacity, even as their hope dwindled with each passing hour. The body betrays internal systems collapse. As the days turned into nights, the victim's body began to betray them. The relentless assault of the elements, the insects, and their own waste took a devastating toll. Infection, festering in the open wounds, ravaged their body. Fever raged, their minds slipping in and out of delirium. Their once healthy flesh, now a rotting, putrid mass, offered little resistance to the creatures feasting upon it. Their organs, deprived of nourishment and ravaged by infection, began to shut down. Still, they clung to life, their body a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, even in the face of unimaginable suffering. The final moments, a merciful release. Death, when it finally came, was a merciful release from the unimaginable torment. For some, it came in the form of a delirious fever dream, their minds escaping the agony their bodies could no longer endure. For others, it was a slow and agonizing surrender as their organs finally shut down, unable to withstand the onslaught of pain and infection. The insects, their gruesome work complete, would move on, leaving behind only the skeletal remains as a chilling reminder of the price of transgression. The stench of decay would linger in the air, a final, haunting testament to the suffering that had transpired in that desolate place. Reflections on cruelty Scaphism's place in human history. Scaphism stands as a chilling reminder of the depths of human cruelty. It is a stark testament to the darkness that can reside within the human heart, a darkness capable of conceiving and inflicting such unimaginable suffering. How could one human being capable of empathy and compassion devise such a horrific end for another? Perhaps it was a thirst for vengeance, a desire to inflict pain in equal measure to the perceived crime. Or maybe it was a cold, calculated decision, a means of instilling terror and maintaining control. Whatever the motivation, Scaphism serves as a chilling reminder of the potential for evil that exists within us all. Conclusion. Remembering the victims. As we recoil from the horror of Scaphism, it is essential to remember the victims. These were not faceless entities, but living, breathing individuals who endured unimaginable suffering. They were sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, whose lives were brutally extinguished in the name of justice, or perhaps more accurately, vengeance. Let their suffering serve as a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of compassion. Let us learn from the darkness of the past, striving to create a future where such horrors are relegated to the history books, never to be repeated. For in remembering their pain, we condemn the cruelty that led to their demise and affirm our commitment to a more humane and just world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, a like would be awesome. If you want more, subscribe.